Hello everybody! Today we're finishing our discussion of the one, the only, Vale. This has been a huge episode with 5 different parts, and I implore you to take a look at all of the other incredible things Vale has to offer, which I've discussed in the other 4 parts. This part will finish off Vale by discussing the backside of Vale, the Blue Sky Basin. This is going to be, by far, the shortest part of this episode. Let's go ahead and jump right into finishing An Insider's Guide to Ski Resorts, Vale. The Blue Sky Basin is the backside of Vale. To get there, you need to get to either the Teacup or China Bowls and ski all the way down. From Teacup, take Marmot Valley. From the China Bowl, ski all the way down to the bottom of Chair 21, the Orient Express, and then head to the skier's left, from which you'll see the entrance to a catwalk that takes you to the Skyline Express Quad, Chair 37. Because it is so far to get to Blue Sky Basin, a minimum 3-lift ride from a vast majority of the resort, it has a very different vibe than the rest of the mountain. When you're at Blue Sky, it really doesn't feel like you're at a massive, super busy, corporate-run ski resort. The vibes in Blue Sky are immaculate. I would highly recommend it. If you intend to get to Blue Sky as quickly as possible first thing in the morning, the fastest method is to start in Vale Village and then take Gondola 1 to Mountaintop and ski Sleepy Time Road all the way across the back bowls. I wouldn't recommend this, and have other recommendations we went over in parts B and D, but this route is there if you want it. Skyline is the busiest lift in Blue Sky Basin, as I consider it to be the main lift, while the other 2 are somewhat secondary, especially Earl's, which we'll discuss in just a minute. Of course, busy is very relative. Skyline is never nearly as busy as the lifts on the front side of the mountain, and generally doesn't have lines over 5 minutes long. The very best terrain in Blue Sky Basin is the tree skiing, which is perfect because it's the major experience that's missing from the front side and back bowls. The great thing about Vale is that it's divided by type of terrain. Groomers and Moguls, front side. Open powder playground, back bowls. Trees and cliffs, Blue Sky Basin. Skyline runs right up a ridge. If you take a left when skiing down the ridge, you'll head down in the woods, which is a wide open, mild meadow that is rather reminiscent of the back bowls. However, it is much less busy than the back bowls. Champagne Glade and CJ's Glade offer some of the easier tree skiing in Blue Sky Basin because their trees are thinned quite a bit compared to some other areas. All of this is lappable via the Earl's Express Quad, Chair 38, but as far as chairlifts go, 38 is the very last priority of Vale. But no worries if Earl's isn't running, you can just take Kelly's Toll Road back down to 37 and lap the terrain that way. Kelly's Toll Road does normally require a bit of skating. Of course, 38 never has lines. If you continue straight down the ridge, you'll be headed down some narrow and steep mogul runs. Encore and Divide have clusters of trees throughout, and moguls everywhere else. If that's going to prompt you to fall, be aware that something will be said from the chairlift above. If you take a right from the ridge, you'll come across some more traditional mogul runs. However, for these upper runs, especially Lover's Leap, you'll probably want to send it going in, as it's a quite sheer drop-off that sometimes has mandatory air. This is a pretty forgiving cornice, so don't be afraid to send it on powder days. But of all of these runs off of Skyline, the best terrain is that which isn't named, the trees between the runs. This is where the best tree skiing is in all of Vale, and if you're willing and able, it's an absolute must to hit if you're heading towards Blue Sky. Big Rock Park is a nice blue groomer with a bunch of tree patches in the middle, but most of it is a slow zone, which is something I find really stupid. Cloud 9 is just a road, and if you're in Blue Sky Basin and are willingly skiing a road without the purpose of accessing some other terrain, you need help. So on the lookers left of Blue Sky Basin here, you have the Pete's Express Quad, Chair 39. Pete's does get some very short lines from time to time, but of course, as is with all of the Blue Sky lifts, it's never unbearable. Down at the bottom of 39 is the Doghouse, which is my favorite place to stop and grab a bite to eat in all of Vale. Off of Pete's, you have these 2 mogul blacks that are best used as access to tree skiing and Grand Review, which is a groomed blue. The Star is only sometimes groomed, so when it's not, it's a good lower level mogul run for learning. There have definitely been days when these lowermost sections of the blues had big moguls and you had to go around on Cloud 9 if you couldn't ski moguls, so make sure you slow down and check before you send it into something you'll regret below the road crossing. To exit the Blue Sky Basin, you'll need to take either China Spur to get to Orient, or you'll need to come back down to Teacup here. I would recommend going to Teacup as it generally has shorter lines than Orient. The only time I would reverse this advice is at the very end of the day when Blue Sky closes at 2 or 2:30, as at that point Teacup will be getting mobbed with everyone that was in Blue Sky, so you might be better off going to 21. Well, that about wraps it up for Vale. Go ahead and check out parts A, B, C, and D right after this if you haven't already, which discuss the rest of the mountain. or go check out another episode of Insider's Guide. As always, please leave any questions down below. Thank you all for watching. All my love, I'm out.